Stay frosty and check out redzonecoins.com for the cheapest, fastest coins on the market. Use code DIRECTOR at checkout for 15% off.
Kia ora, brothers. What's up? It's the Director. Chargers fans, you guys ready for one of the best storyline games of the year? Because I am. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a duel of the rookie quarterbacks coming up on Sunday. 5th overall pick, Tua Tagovailoa versus 6th overall pick, Justin Herbert. Ooh, does this game carry some substance? Now, if you guys remember back in April, I was a huge Tua Tagovailoa advocate. Perhaps for obvious reasons, but also because I thought he would fit the Chargers like a beautiful poli glove. I was definitely on the Tua hype train for sure, and yeah, I'll admit, I was a little bummed out when the Dolphins picked him in front of us. Now, that being said, I was definitely not one of those guys that wrote off Herbert from the get-go. As a matter of fact, I think I did a video on why I didn't understand where all the Herbert hate was coming from. I was like, did you slap your mama? Because to me, Herbert was the perfect physical specimen. Like, his measurables were into the next stratosphere. And now, in hindsight, I'm sure most teams would definitely pick Herbert over Tua. And I think even Dolphins fans would have to admit that at this point, although they would never tell you that, which I respect. Stand by your quarterback. But all that being said, it does not mean that they got a bad quarterback. On the contrary, quite the opposite. Tua was drafted before Herbert because he carried less of a risk factor when it came to quarterback development. Obviously, his biggest risk was his injury, but he as an individual is just so talented, it was worth the risk. To be clear, he is wildly talented and he is going to have a bright future in Miami. So I think it's obvious that so far, drafting these quarterbacks back-to-back are seeming to pay off handsomely for both the Chargers and the Dolphins. But still, one can't help but wonder, who really is the better quarterback? Ooh. Did the Dolphins make the right choice? Can Herbert make the ultimate statement in this game that the doubters were in fact wrong? I love games like this. Call me a sap if you must, but stories like this are what make football for me. So much has led up to this moment, and I'm very ready to see this story unfold. Guys, before we get into it, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. The Justin Herbert versus Tua Tagovailoa Week 10 epic showdown is about to begin. This Sunday, the Chargers will travel to Miami to face off against the 5-3 Dolphins. Yeah, I'm shocked too, okay? Now, if you asked me earlier in the season, I would have pegged this matchup as a very favorable game for the Chargers, but a lot has changed since then, and the Dolphins are all of a sudden looking like a dangerous unit. Now, we have a lot to unpack in this video, but first, let's open with what's going on in this week's injury report, as we always do. Now, I know some of you guys were upset you couldn't see the full injury report because my head was like right in the way. Well, here you go. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for a second. There you go. There's the full report. And I'm back. Now, unfortunately for the Chargers, it seems like we got the short end of the stick once again when it comes to injury. Our best defensive player in Joey Bosa has still yet to clear concussion protocol. Damn. So he will not be suiting up this Sunday, which is a huge bummer, because we sure could have used him this week against the Fins offense that is starting to heat up. As a matter of fact, I think one of the biggest key factors to this game, in my opinion, is containing Tua, and it's gonna prove that much more difficult with Bosa out in this one. Now, outside of that, it seems like Justin Jackson is likely out this game this well. That is unfortunate, but I think the Chargers have proven that they're still a capable unit without him, so expect backups Joshua Kelly, newcomer Kalen Ballage, who looked electric, to play in his stead. Now, finally, we do have a sliver of hope in this injury report. Last week, Brian Bulaga took a nasty hit against the Raiders, and he was knocked out of the game as soon as it began, okay? And that was a tough pill to swallow. I didn't think we'd be seeing him again for a long time, but lo and behold, he looked pretty good back in practice this week, getting in a full practice on Friday, and this bodes very well for him to play on Sunday. Like, guys, this is a big deal. And at the bottom of the list on the Chargers side, we see Trey Turner, a man who hasn't seen the field in what feels like forever. And it looks like for just the second time this year, we may see Bulaga and Turner on the field at the same time, and I'm very optimistic of this because they both practiced in full by the end of the week. Oh man, guys, again, this is huge. I briefly explained their importance to the team last week, but to reiterate myself, this is a huge deal that they're both on the field. You do need to remember that Bulaga and Turner are among the league's best offensive linemen right now when they're on the field. The problem is you're more likely to see Sasquatch play on the right side than these two as of late. Injuries have really taken these guys out of the equation. Now, the reason I'm highlighting their return so heavily is because Chargers fans have no idea what to expect when these guys are on the line because they really haven't just seen it yet. You think you know? You don't know. You don't know why I'm hyping this up so much. We're talking at the very least a top 10 right side in the league when these guys are healthy. And that's very, very good news for Justin Herbert, who till now has been playing with the worst offensive line in football, or very damn close to it. Having Bulaga and Turner back is a huge upgrade to this offense. If you thought Herbert was good before, watch out. Extra time and mobility to the right side could help Herbert reach the next unbelievable level. Anyway, I've spent way too much time on this already. Just know that I'm very, very excited to see them back. Now on the Dolphins side, things look more or less normal. The one player I expect to sit out is Matt Breida. They should be okay without him. Everyone else seems to have gotten a full practice in by the end of the week, so they should be fine. But I should also mention that linebacker Kyle Van Noy has been placed on the COVID list. I'm not entirely sure what his official status is, but that would be a pretty big blow to that defense. He's been really good this year. So we can expect to go up against a more or less completely healthy Dolphins team, which is going to prove a huge challenge for the Chargers. Remember earlier when I said the Dolphins look like a different team? Well, they do. And honestly, they're starting to win back the respect of the league and its fans. This team is dangerous, and it's because of a few key factors. One, they have completely transformed their defense. A defense that last year ranked among the worst has flipped into one of the best, just like that. And honestly, I can't put my finger on how they did this transformation so quickly. I mean, they've got playmakers. Jerome Baker's looked really solid. Shaq Lawson's starting to come into his potential. Newcomer Byron Jones has really paired well with Xavier Howard, which has really solidified their secondary. I don't know. It just seems to all be coming together for the Dolphins. And what used to be a laughable defense has turned into one that makes me sweat a little bit. Because their biggest trait right now, I think, is playmakers. They just seem to know how to score on defense. It's kind of wild. They're right now the #1 scoring defense in the entire NFL. The Dolphins. So this brings me to my first point. How do the Chargers attack the Dolphins defense? Well, for one, I think there's going to need to be a larger focus on ball security. I know Herbert is known for a few rookie mistakes here and there, throwing it into double coverage or throwing his receivers into traffic. We can't do that this week because the Dolphins definitely have the pieces in place to punish small mistakes like that. We need to pay extra attention to detail on offense and limit our mistakes as much as possible. Because if the Chargers end up losing the turnover battle, I fear that the Dolphins will capitalize on that with points. Can't do that. Next, our play calling is going to have to get a lot more creative on offense this week as well. Now, the Dolphins aren't amazing against the run, but the Chargers have become very predictable as to when they're going to hand it off. And yes, I'm talking about the Chargers running it on first down almost more than any other team in the league. Stop it. I would like to take a page out of the Titans book for this one, mix things up, throw in a couple more play action screens, bubble screens, etc. This doesn't mean to completely abandon the run at all. No, don't do that. I think establishing the run is going to be very important this game, but just get more creative in the way that you do that. But ultimately, and no surprise here, I think this is going to fall on the shoulders of Justin Herbert and how well he adjusts to this game. This is a tough opponent defensively, but I do have to reiterate this, guys, because there is kind of a balance in his favor here as well. He's facing a tough defense, yes, but he'll also likely have his two best offensive linemen back as well, and Herbert has handled himself very well against tougher defenses in the past without Brian Bulaga Bulaga or Trey Turner. So having him back, it's a big deal. And on top of that, Herbert has proven to be one of the most efficient quarterbacks when under pressure. I think, honestly, when you take a step back and really look at the situation, I think the Chargers realistically have an edge here. Mostly because of Herbert, but that line reinforcement, it's a big deal. Now let's talk about the Chargers defense. Wow. What a mess. I think if we're strictly talking the battle of the quarterbacks, I think Tua definitely has the advantage when it comes to the defense that he's facing. The Chargers defense, and more specifically the Chargers defensive play calling, has been nothing short of abysmal for the past few weeks. The whole year. Granted, the Chargers' first half defense has looked pretty good, but for whatever reason that I cannot fathom, Gus Bradley always opens up the defense in the second half, making us prime for the picking, and opposing quarterbacks absolutely feast on us every single time. And it's because of this, I think folks are really going to be high on Tua after this game. We've made quarterbacks like Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater, and Gardner Minshew look elite. And I think Tua could add his name to that list after Sunday. But that's if Bradley doesn't do something to adjust his second half defense, which is already going to be more challenging with the absence of Bosa. Speaking of which, I hope that Bradley's intelligent enough to get our playmakers more snaps this week. Last week, Uchenna Nwosu, in the absence of Joey Bosa, 12% of snaps. Like, why? I really hope to see Uchenna Nwosu at edge defender most of this game. He should really be the no-brainer plug-and-play substitute when either Ingram or Bosa are absent, right? And additionally, I want to see Kenneth Murray back on the field this week, too. He was benched at some point last week. Again, I can't tell you why. And that's nuts to me. You know what? I think it's because they expected him to be Bobby Wagner out there in coverage. And he's just not that kind of player. Matter of fact, we blitzed him once, and it worked. I honestly don't see a reason why we don't look at that tape and be like, yeah, we're going to do that a lot this game. Kenneth Murray pretty good at blitz. We need to keep Tua from getting comfortable. Now, all that being said, I think we got a great game on our hands this week with a great narrative. And if I'm being honest, I think it's going to be a great display of both quarterbacks in this one. We should see plenty of juicy Tua and Herbert action. If I were honest, this would make a hell of a primetime game. Are you guys ready for my official game prediction? Chargers 28, Dolphins 31. I am ready to get hurt again. I think the Chargers put up a solid fight. Herbert's going to have another great game, tallying his signature 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. But I have a feeling that the Chargers' second half defensive collapse may be responsible for yet another loss. Now, let me be clear. This would likely be less on the players and more on the coaching. Until we make a change, and a big one, I fear we may be trapped in this defensive hell. Still, there's always hope. Maybe 6 close losses in a row is enough to wake up this staff. But I'm still hopeful that we can pull this off. I'm at the point where I feel like the Chargers are capable of literally beating anybody, because we've almost won every single game. Whichever way you cut it, guys, even the skeptics in the comment, you can just never write them off. Nor would I want to. It just depends on if this is the week we finally figure out how to close out games. But either way, it's going to be a great game. And if anything, I fully expect Herbert to continue to add to his amazing resume. 1 week closer to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Well, guys, that's all I've got for today's video. If you did enjoy this content, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. Good luck to the Chargers this Sunday. Good luck to Justin Herbert and his amazing rookie season. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty.